the panel of speakers who are well qualified to speak on these three major topics. I'd like to thank Yang Roman, C.J. Hao, Adun Batulindan. I would like to thank Dato, Dr. John Lau, who will speak on Petroleum Development Act 1974. I'd like to thank Nicholas Bowing, who will speak on NCR land and Sarawak land code. I have done some studies, of course, on all the three major issues facing us with a view of coming up with our PSB manifesto for the state election. Well, of course, I will leave it to the three speakers to enlighten us on the major issues we faced for these three issues. As you know, dear comrades, I'll briefly touch on the Malaysian agreement which was signed in London 9th of July 1963, and then of course Malaysia came into existence on the 16th of September 1963. The whole process of federation, I could only say, is highly complex, highly controversial. You have, first of all, Federation of Malaya, plus the two British territories of Penang and Malacca. Then you have the North Borneo and Sarawak. Then you have Singapore. So 1963, in fact, what was called Malaysia was made up of 4 component territories, 4 component entities, namely Federation of Malaya, Singapore, Sarawak and Sabah. 4 component territories joined together as partners in Malaysia. First crisis, in fact, that was earlier. You know, Negeri Sembilan was the federation of 9 territories. So it was highly complex. But anyway, 1963, when Malaysia was formed, then you have the Indonesian confrontation. Fortunately, with the leaving of Sukarno, things died down. That was the first crisis the so-called Malaysia had to face. Then 1965, another crisis when Singapore left Malaysia. Then, of course, you talk about Malaysia is either 2 out of 30 or 2 out of 3, meaning is it 11 states plus 2 states, 13 territories. As you know, Sarawak and Sabah were relegated to state status subsequently. So it is 2 plus 11, but we would like it to be 2 plus 1. Federation of Malaya, Sabah and Sarawak. 3 component territories. Is not one of the states among the 13 states. I think what was most controversial, as you might have heard, you might have read, happened in 1969. 1969 tragedy that changed the whole scenario of the Federation of Malaysia. 1969 riots broke up in Kuala Lumpur, but that happened only in Peninsular Malaysia. But the tragedy of Sarawak also started from there. You recall that emergency was declared, Parliament was suspended, and so this executive power was bestowed, was awarded to the operation director of operation, the then Deputy Chief Minister Tun Razak. And you also recall that the power given to the executive director, in fact, was all powerful, and he could declare any of the emergency act. And so, dear comrades, 1969 tragedy also affected Sarawak because of the emergency ordinance. Our territorial rights, our rights over our continental shelf, continental waters was taken away. And you know, Operational Director Tun Razak on the 12th of May 1969 announced, based on the EO number 7, which came into being on the 10th of August, our continental shelf was reduced from 350 nautical miles to only 3 nautical miles. In other words, all the natural resources in the continental shelf was taken away. Then, of course, the Petroleum Development Act came into being in 1974. All our rights to explore, to exploit oil and gas was taken away. EO number 7 did all the damages as far as our natural resources were concerned. What is PDA? Petroleum Development Act 1974, to many was only a worthless paper to camouflage all the rights taken away. By right, dear comrades, emergency ordinance was repealed in 2012. Once that was repealed, automatically the power over continental shelf was returned to states of Sarawak and Sabah. No more issue. We own continental shelf after the repeal of 2012 emergency ordinance. Automatically, power to operate, to exploit oil and gas in the continental shelf by right should belong to the state. Automatically, because of the repeal of the Emergency Act 2012. And so, I suppose state government ought to do a lot of studies, ought to do a lot of homework before they could negotiate with the federal authority over this gas and petrol exploration rights, including MA 63, all the rights and interests that were eroded over the years, that were taken away by the federal government over the years. And by right, the state government should be armed with facts and data to really work on the interests to safeguard the state interests. PSB is a party that will stand firm on whatever that is enshrined in MA 63. We will stand firm on all that is contained in MA 63, including the 18-point safeguards for the state of Sarawak. We will take care of the state of Sarawak for the people of Sarawak with only one major consideration, that is, the state of Sarawak belongs to the people of Sarawak. PSB will take care of the people of Sarawak. We will do so without considering any of the particular group of people or a particular group of companies. We'll do so for the entire interest of the people of Sarawak, for the benefit of the people of Sarawak. And I think I speak a bit too much. I will leave it to Yang Roba Sinji Hao to deliberate on MA 63 and the consequential issues that may arise from MA 63. Then, of course, we have the Petroleum Development Act 1974. As you know, I went to the press to question the state government on a number of issues over the Petroleum Development Act 1974. Instead of giving me the answers, state government has decided to sue me, to bring me to court. And I now will have to see the state government in a court. I can't understand why for a certain sum of money that the state government would agree to continue to recognize the Petroleum Development Act 1974, to continue to recognize the power vested with Petronas, to continue to explore, to exploit the oil and gas. I want that answer. But instead of getting the answer, the state government decided to sue me. I'll see the state government in court and settle it out. So I'll leave Dr. John Lau to deliberate on this Petroleum Development Act 1974. Some say it is a worthless paper, no longer irrelevant, because by virtue of the fact that the Emergency Act was repealed in 2012, continental shelves, all that should be reverted back to the state government automatically. And so PDA 74, the right to explore, to exploit, became irrelevant. But anyway, I'll leave to the speaker to deliberate on that. Then the third topic, which is of great concern to a lot of us, particularly our Bumiputra, our native brothers and sisters, is the land issue, the NCR land issues. I'm sure Nicholas Bowen will give us a full explanation on the land issues that we face. NCR Land and Sarawak Land Court, we, our party PSB, will look into seriously. We may have to review the Sarawak Land Court. We must recognize the rights of the natives over their lands. We will re-examine our land courts to address these Pemakai, Menua, and Pulau Gala land issues. And we'll also look at the parameter survey of such lands for the land to be properly demarcated and subsequently gazetted. All in all, dear comrades, our party PSB will play a very responsible role in upholding not just the rights that are enshrined in MA 63, will also uphold the rights of all the natives to their land. I think I briefly say what I need to say. I'd like to thank all of you for taking your time off to be with us. And as you know, I resigned from Cabinet a year ago in August 2019 to really set free our party PSB. Because if I didn't resign, we were still part of the GPS government, although they regard us as friendly party. With my resignation from the cabinet, our party PSB became an independent party. We are the masters of ourselves. We can do what we want. We can contest in all the 82 seats. Our door is wide open to anyone who believes in the mission and vision of PSB to join us. As I travel throughout the length and breadth of Sarawak, I see spontaneous reaction from the people of Sarawak. Many of them, tens and thousands of them now join PSB. Yesterday I was in Dato, Limpang, launching PSB Dato Service Center. I also declare Saudara Aliata to be the candidate for Dato. With me, we have YB Dr. Johnny Karayong, with Dato Joseph Endolo, and all of us feel very touched by the overwhelming support for Saudara Aliata. Perhaps thousands of them turn out all in our party uniform. Not a single one without wearing our party uniform. And the spirit was so high. I feel greatly encouraged as the party president. Later on, I'll move around to many other areas. And I'm sure our party now is a party to be reckoned with. And so, dear comrades, work hard and we will reap the harvest in the end. You and I must work hard, stay engaged with the people on the ground, telling the message that we must change now. We have to bring about change after nearly 60 years of rule of Barisan Nasional or GPS. Change now. This is a very good opportunity to make use of PSB as a platform for leaders of all races. The Dayak, including Ibang, Bidayu, Orang Ulu, then the Malay, Macau, the Chinese, all come together to rally behind PSB to bring about change. Otherwise, Sarawak will remain as such in the present situation, probably for many years to come. change now. Change we must. Change PSB must bring about. And it is you and I, our sacred duty to do it for the people of Sarawak. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you, Dr. Sri. If you could please remain on stage to present a certificate of appreciation to our speakers today. I'd like to invite Mr. George Law and YB Dr. Jonathan Ryan to be on stage together with Dato Sri. First off, is a certificate of appreciation to YBC Chihao, our speaker today on the topic of MA 63. Dr. Joseph Antulu, could you please be on stage too? Next, Dr. John Lau Pang Heng, our speaker on PDA 1974. And last but not least, our speaker on the topic of NCR land, Mr. Nicholas Darwin.